Welcome to UMR. I'll be reviewing the third episode of Westworld called The Stray is the name of this episode. If you don't know what UMR is or I am, my name's Mark, and this is completely unscripted, unprofessional review. That's what we usually do. We do movies. Sometimes I got people with me. I do TV shows, usually alone. There you go. Alright, so completely unscripted. I just go off the top of my head and rant for a little while about the show. So, the way I'm going to do this episode is I'll be giving you a non-spoilery kind of synopsis if you haven't seen the episode, and then tell you how I felt about it without spoilering anything. And, yes, I say spoilering instead of spoiling, because it sounds better to say. Yeah, and then I'm going to give you your review, or my rate of the episode between 0 and 5, usually on my hands. Then, like, without any spoils, and then after I give the review, I'm going to tell you to leave if you don't want to be spoiled, but if you've seen this episode, like I have, then stay, because I'm going to discuss everything. Lots of things. Okay, yeah, let's get to it. This episode was the third episode, and called The Stray, which, of course, is a reference to a host. I'm hoping you've at least seen the first two episodes. A host being a stray, getting left out of his loop and out of his storyline, and he's kind of messed up a bunch of other. And this episode's kind of about a couple characters solving that problem of trying to get him back into the loop. And then lots to do with Bernard, Jeffrey Wright's character. You kind of really dive into his story, which is awesome, because Jeffrey Wright is great, and he's always been really good, but he's never really been a really well-known person, and like this episode shows him off so well, and it just really gives you how good of an actor this guy is, and just how good of a character Bernard is. And that's kind of it in a non-spoilery way. We learn a lot more about what's going on between him and Evan Rachel Wood's character, Dolores. And yeah, that's kind of it. What did I feel about this episode between 0 and 5? This is probably my favorite episode so far. And I think I said that last time. I think the pilot was the weakest, and I really liked episode 2. I'm going to be giving this one a 4.5 out of 5. So, boom, 4.5 out of 5. That's really high. I'll get to why it's not a perfect score. 2 reasons. Still the same reason why it's not a perfect score from the last episode. I'm still not in love with any of the characters yet. If you want a 5 out of 5, I'm talking Shawshank Redemption, Goodfellas, good. You know, you're talking about a perfect movie. This is really up there when it comes to TV show. But yeah, or a perfect TV show. You're talking about the best episodes of Breaking Bad or the best episodes of Mad Men. You're talking about the best. This is almost there. It is. I really liked what HBO did earlier this year with The Night Of. This one isn't quite as good because I'm not in love with the characters or just enthralled by the characters as much yet. And I think a lot of it's because a lot of them are hosts and they don't want to give away a lot of the story yet. But this got me a lot more involved with at least one of my favorite characters, Bernard. And still the story's really good. And yeah, so another reason why this isn't a top 5 yet, and I'll get to this in the spoilers, but it's not... Okay, this is a weird sentence. When I watched this show, I went and I watched a recap because I watched it last night, and then I slept, and then I wanted a little bit of a recap, so I just figured I'd watch somebody else's review. Halfway through the other review, I shut it off because they saw something entirely different. They saw something that I didn't even know, and I still, to this point, don't think that happened, and I'll get to that in the spoils. I don't actually, but that's a negative on the show. Incoherency is a negative. If somebody else sees something completely different, this isn't a painting, this isn't a work on the wall, this isn't interpretable. No. How it makes you feel is interpretable, trust me. But the show does have a script, and there is a beginning and an end, and things happen in between, and it is the story, or is the job of the director to tell that story. And if Joe over there, there's not actually a guy, but if Joe's sitting in this chair, saw something completely different, that's incoherency. That is a bad thing when it comes to the director. The director did a good enough job if he didn't see what's on the script. Or maybe he saw what's on the script and I didn't, and I'm going to be reviewing something that is wrong. That is incoherency, and that is a problem. It's not a giant problem. Could be. But right now, from what it did to this episode, I wouldn't consider it a huge problem because I don't think that's 100% the point of the episode. But that is still something that you can't have. So that's why it's not a perfect 5. There, I explained myself. Moving on. All right, get out of here if you don't want to be spoiled. By the way, the director that I was talking about's name is Neil Marshall. He directed this episode. I kept saying the director, Neil Marshall. All right, get out of here if you don't want to be spoiled. All right, are they gone? Sweet. Now, let's talk. Episode started with one of Bernard's and Dolores' chats, and then it ends with that too, or pretty much ends with one of those two. And yeah, holy crap. What's going on with Bernard? Jeffrey Wright, yeah, he's just blowing it out of the park. And I love this character. And most of this episode review is going to be just me talking about Bernard. And it starts off with, again, kind of not as hardcore as the later talk with Dolores, but yeah, he's trying to find out, does anyone else have these kind of talks with you? Da-da-da-da-da. So on and so forth. And he's trying to, he gives her an Alice in Wonderland book, and then apparently that's not the first gift he's given her, and a lot of it has to do with change, which is weird. It's like he's really trying to get her a break free into AI. It's almost like Bernard's 2 different characters. And that's awesome. Because people are like that. People are dual, to have 2 faces, is what I'm trying to say. The person I am around my girlfriend or fiance is not the same person I am when I'm drinking beers with my friends. It does seem like he's kind of doing this where when he's talking to her, really does seem like he's trying to make that AI. He's really trying to break free, get her to think outside the box. And then later when he's talking to Anthony Hopkins, he's like, what? Why would anyone want to give these people AI? And then Hopkins knows something's up. He's like, so is there something you have to tell me? He's like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, yeah, come on. So, Albert, I think it was the name that that a lot of the robots have been hearing inside their heads. So we finally get a lot of backstory. Now I got a theory. On a backstory. So, Anthony Hopkins tells a story that involves Albert and how Albert somehow it gets into this really awesome philosophical debate on if the thoughts in my head are mine or are the work of an actual God, or God's voices inside my head. This is something that philosophy has talked about for a long time, and that early cavemen actually didn't think that it was their own conscious thoughts. I know they're my own conscious thoughts. I've moved past that. I've evolved a little bit past that of a caveman. But yeah, it's super interesting of when you're talking about train of thought and how much thought they put into the robot's thoughts. And I was taken away. I love that this is the first time with an Anthony Hopkins scene that I really, really, really enjoyed it. It was great. So, getting into that, and then Albert's voice being some people's thoughts, my theory is that Albert is the Man in Black, is Ed Harris's character, because we don't actually see in these flashbacks, we see a young Anthony Hopkins and he looks just great, but we don't see an Albert. I think it's Ed Harris. I think it's the Man in Black. That brings up even more, so that's my theory. That brings up even more questions like, how did he say he's dead, but people apparently seem like they know about Ed Harris when, like the line last episode, like, no, that guy gets to do whatever the hell he wants. But if that was Albert, people would be like, then why? Oh, because he's Albert, he's not really dead, don't tell anyone. So that brings up that question, is it seems like people know who the Man in Black is, but Albert's supposedly dead and no one knows about him. So that's my one big hole in my theory. But who knows? Okay, let's talk about Bernard's kid. That scene between him and Zoe from Firefly, which I'm assuming is his ex-wife or current wife, but either way, the mom of his dead child. That conversation, holy shit. Yeah, make no mistake, Jeffrey Wright's amazing at what he does, and subtlety of his acting, he's so good at it. Like at the end of his conversation with Anthony Hopkins, and Anthony Hopkins is like, "Hey, I know about your son. Are you fucking with shit?" I'm paraphrasing, and then Wright gives him this look, this like back the fuck off, but I'm unsure of myself at the same time. Look, holy crap, that was awesome. And then that whole powerful scene, that conversation between him and his baby mama. Yeah, it just brings on a whole other dimension to this character. And Bernard's definitely my favorite character right now. And let's just finish off. Let's get to the ending, and I'll just discuss what happened with the rest of Bernard. And then I'll get to what the Stray, what the episode's actually about. And then I'll talk a little bit about William, because I really like William. So the last conversation that he had with Dolores, I noticed something. And this is what I noticed. So when he has this conversation, he tells her to shut off all pre-scripted reactions and go 100% off of improvisation, which means that he's just talking to her consciousness, which seems very dangerous, right? So he's just doing that. And then after the conversation, he's like, all right, get back to your loop, go on the business as usual. He didn't turn on scripted shit again. It seemed weird. Maybe he doesn't have to. Maybe it just like times out and the program gets going. But he didn't do that. He left her completely in conscious mode. He left her full on id. She's just pure consciousness right now. And I don't know if that was just something I picked up and it's not actually what happened, but I don't know. Seemed really crazy. And then now about Dolores now, she shoots, or she flips to a scene with her and James Marsden's character, who I'm forgetting right now, trying to shoot, and she just can't fire the gun. And then later, by the way, shout out to Stephen Hogg. Good job for being in the Stephen Hogg. If you guys don't know who Stephen Hogg is, this guy with the crazy facial hair that she shoots in the barn, what I'm about to get to. He did the motion capture and voice work for Trevor Phillips in Grand Theft Auto 5, and he's also in the new Walking Dead. He was in the season finale, and I think he's going to be in this next season. Anyway, Stephen Hogg, get some work, man. Get that money. Awesome. And he's actually really good at playing a scumbag-looking motherfucker. But anyways, shout out to Stephen Hogg. Anyways, so Dolores is in the barn with him. He's going to do some rapey shit. And then she shoots him, which shows she can shoot people. Holy shit. She wasn't able. That wasn't in her programming. And yes, some hosts can shoot people. That's not what I'm surprised about. I'm surprised about that. She seems like she specifically wasn't supposed to, and she did it. Wow. Okay, sweet. That's awesome. Just like Killing the Fly. It was a Killing the Fly moment. That was great. Now, before I go on and talk about the Stray, let's talk about this theory I heard. And that was, somebody thought that at the beginning when she sees the gun and then kind of hears, now we know it's Albert's voice, and then goes back down and the gun's gone. People, one of the theories I heard was it jumped back like 38 years of the past, and then it goes to original conversation between her and James Marsden. My problem with that theory is, in that conversation with James Marsden, the one chick with the black hat who is a host, or is a guest, the one guest with the black hat who's doing the bounties with her with him is there. She's in the later scenes with the Stray, or not with the Stray, but with the Wyatt storyline, and that was created just now with the Anthony Hopkins just made that. So there's no way that scene, at least with her involved, was 30 years in the past. I don't know if they're jumping through former loops from 30 years ago. And if they are, that's cool. Sweet, if you think that, good job. I don't think that, because of the coherency again, then they have to show us. More than just a gun disappearing, they have to show us that it was 30 years in the past. Or whenever it was. If you don't give me a clear indication that time shifts, I'm not going to think time shifted. And I'm not going to buy that. I'm not going to review this as if time did. So, anyways, I've been talking for 15 minutes. I better hurry this up. So, let's talk about the Stray. I always call her Sabrina because that's the character she played in Raising Hope. But Shannon Woodward's character, Elsie, Elsie and some meathead dude who's really clever, actually, are looking for the Stray, and then they find the, group of hosts that are just waiting for their dinner to get going. And they see some weird shit. They find weird carvings. It's not in this character to look up at the stars, but he has carvings of constellations, so on and so forth. Whoa! Okay, that's cool. And then they find him, and she shuts him off. Meathead goes down there to cut off the guy's meat head. See what I did there? And as he's cutting it off, the guy just wakes up. Shit that shouldn't be able to happen. Holy crap. And then he crawls out about to kill Elsie and then smashes his own head with a rock. Besides being just, super awesome, good. That's, the most metal shit I've ever seen, just somebody's head caving in underneath the rock. That was awesome. But yeah, that opens up a lot of questions. What the fuck does that mean? This show does so many questions and very little answers. It just asks, why is a robot gonna be able to wake up? Why is a robot smashing his own head in? What? Yeah, okay, was it because he wasn't able to kill Elsie? Because they can't harm them? I don't know. Crazy shit. Alright, I've been talking for a while. I think there's a couple more things. I got another Bernard theory. Now, is he fucking with Dolores to make AI and then recreate his son? Possibly. That's another theory that I've heard that might be true. I might buy into that. Maybe. A couple other things. I didn't talk a lot about the Wyatt storyline because it's not really that interesting yet. But I mean, I like that they're giving James Marsden's character a more fleshed out character, because I kind of like that we're centered around somebody with the most simple backstory, because he's not that important. And now they gave him a bigger backstory. That's really cool. I like that. And I like the Wyatt storyline until it fleshes out more. I'm not really going to discuss it. It kind of seems Apocalypse Now style. Like we haven't seen much of it yet. Alright, no, that's not what I mean. If it sees Apocalypse Now, Wyatt's going to be Marlon Brando's character surrounded by a bunch of crazy natives, and he's controlling them. That's what I kind of got. We're going down the river in the heart of darkness right now. That's kind of what I got out of the Wyatt storyline so far. Also, James Marsden gets hacked to pieces. That was awesome. Speaking of James Marsden hacked to pieces, the chick who owns a brothel sees him and then has the memory of seeing him when she woke up. Crazy. All these memory things. Alright, I think I'm done. I talked for fucking 18 minutes, so it's going to be a 20-minute video. Now, give me feedback. Tell me what you thought of this episode in the comments. Please do it. Anything. Hey, I liked the episode. I hated the episode. I hate your review. I like your review. Now, click thumbs up if you liked this. I'm not asking you to click thumbs up. I'm not telling you to. I'm just saying if you liked it, go ahead. Now, if you didn't like it and you want to click thumbs down, do me a favor. I'm not going to be offended. I'm not at all. I'm just doing this shit on a whim. This doesn't mean a lot to me. I'm just kind of passionate about TV shows and movies, so that's why I do this. So, if you give me the thumbs down, that's fine. But please, go into the comments and say what you didn't like about my review. Why did you give me thumbs down? I'm not going to be pissed. I'm not at all. No way. I probably wouldn't like this show either. But I want to know what to fix. That's all. Hey, stop rambling on. Hey, we don't care about your cats breaking the Legos. I didn't bring it up, but my cats just broke Legos, and I'm about to do this, and that's probably why I seemed a little stressed at the beginning of the video. Tell me, why are you clicking thumbs down, and I'm not going to start an argument. I'm not. Not enough people comment on here to start an argument with you. Trust me. Okay, Thanks. Subscribe if you want to subscribe. Click like if you want to. And fucking, yeah, have a good day, and I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye!